The Human Rights Commission is releasing its annual report this morning. It covers complaints of human rights violations received by the Commission. Reporter Govan Whittles is tracking this story for us and joins us live from Braamfontein. Govan, good morning to you. Talk to us about what's likely to come out of this report by the Human Rights Commission.
Well, early at this report, we're expecting the Human Rights Commission to clarify the latest trends over the last 5 years in terms of the types of complaints that it's received from South Africans and which complaints have dominated the reports which it has received. The type of issues that we're expecting it to focus on is to see, as it's been reporting over the last couple of years, whether there has been an increase in the number of racism complaints that's been lodged with the SA Human Rights Commission. Other complaints, of course, also relate to the right to human dignity and where that's been infringed on, but also the right to adequate housing and the right to property and the right to education. Those are some of the issues which have been dominating the South African landscape over the last year or two, and we're expecting to find out from the Human Rights Commission whether that has translated into actual complaints being lodged with its office. And then, of course, we need an update into exactly how many of these complaints have been found to be legitimate and which sanctions were applied or which action was taken by the Human Rights Commission. So it's a snapshot in terms of what kind of human rights violations are taking place in South Africa, which of these human rights violations dominate the list of complaints at the Commission, and of course what the Commission has been done about it. In short, we're expecting to find out exactly what the SA Human Rights Commission has been doing over the last financial year to, first of all, respond to these complaints and issue sanctions if there are any to be issued.
That's exactly actually what I was going to ask you next, Govan, to say, once that report is released, what happens to it? Is it handed over to government? Is it handed over to law enforcement authorities where, criminal prosecutions have got to be done? What exactly is done with it?
Well, remember that the Human Rights Commission Chapter 9 institution, its job is to hand over reports to Parliament, but in this case what we're seeing is a snapshot of its work over the last financial year. So while it may have received human rights violation complaints, the Commission itself would have gone through these complaints, decided on whether or not there should be a sanction, and when necessary referred it to either the Equality Court or the necessary courts which it deemed appropriate. So here we're basically going to see what kind of work the Commission has been doing over the last financial year and exactly which of these violations have dominated its time.
All right, and what time can we expect that particular briefing to happen?
Well, the briefing will happen between 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock. It's going to take some time just to go through exactly the number of complaints which have been received, but we're expecting some feedback in the afternoon.
Right, Govan Whittles at the Human Rights